Hey, everybody. I'm so excited. I'm going to be changing this is speaker view really quickly. We are so excited to have our Plexus pharmacist here, Miss Kelly Hulst. She is going to just elate us with her commentary and her knowledge. So, without further ado, Kelly, thank you so much for being here. We cannot
Yeah,
wait to hear from you.
that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, girl. No, this is just a treat. It's a treat to be able to speak to others and just to know that you guys are all supporting my channel is like a huge blessing to me. Um, but yeah, I'll just start out and I'll tell you what I always say is my pleximony, right? How this all came to fruition and what got me to where I am today. And then with the business part of it, because when you get to know me, I'm completely sarcastic. Sarcasm, I always say, is my second language next to English. And it's very true. But when I was introduced to Plexus, I got a call from a classmate from college, actually. She married a high school. Let me back it up. I'm from a very small town in North Dakota. Okay. Very rural community. We had a local college in our town, went to college there my first 2 years, and then had to transfer where they had a pharmacy program. So those years you basically go to college with all your high school besties and whatever. So this gal married one of my high school classmates. So she calls me up out of the blue, like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. Hey, it's Kelly Carlstead. What are you up to? Right. And we're chit chatting. And then she's like, I'm going to be in Grand Forks, which is the town I live in. Like, wait, what? Are you kidding? I haven't seen you for 25 years. And she's like, yep, I'm starting this new business and it's called Plexus. And all I hear is I'm coming to Grand Forks. You know how you're curious to see somebody after all those years? So I'm like elated. I don't care what Plexus is. I have no idea. I could care less. I ended up closing the pharmacy that night. So I show up at her event a little too late because I had no intention of staying, you guys. Shame on me. But I just wanted to like see her and give her a hug and all the things. So I get to this event and it's like, well, crap. Looking around the room, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to sit down and deal with this and just put on my big girl panties. I'm going to have to stay for this, figure out what Plexus is. But these women, it's like a full-blown sip and share type thing, which I didn't know what that was at the time. I do now. But these gals are getting up and like telling their stories, right? And I cannot figure this out because at the time I was so prideful. When I look back, it's like this was a really humbling experience from me for me because I wasn't trained on any of this. In fact, we were trained exactly opposite. I can remember questions coming up like this in pharmacy classes. And it's like, oh, if anybody ever shows up with a bottle of whatever, and you look at it, and basically we were just told to tell people, no, yeah, not to be taking that. And that was like our universal thing we were taught. So this event is going on, and these gals are standing up, and I'm like, okay, I know her. I know her. I know her. Wow, that's an old pharmacy customer. I haven't seen her for a while. It was crazy, right? And they're telling their stories, and I'm thinking, and they kept saying how life changing this was. So for me, all these red flags, life changing. Oh, okay. I'm rolling my eyes. But it gets over. Long story short, the event gets over and Kelly comes over to me and she's like, well, what did you think? I'm like, okay, you've captivated my attention here. I have no idea how these stories can be true, but I know her and I know her and I know her. Right. So tell me, I am so curious to how this can be for real. So by the end of the night, I had walked out, I had signed up. I didn't want to sign up with the subscription, all things. I signed up as a retail customer. I'm like, nope, I'll pay. It's totally fine. I'll pay. But I'm driving home because she's like, well, what are your health stories, right? Or what's your health goal? My goal. Girl, I've been constipated for as long as I can remember. And many of these women address that, right? Said it out loud. I'm like, okay, that's my health thing. That's what I want to fix. So I left that night, again, buying the triplex, driving home thinking, what in the world have I done? I know way better than this. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe I fell for this. but I just felt like I'm trying to like excuse it now. Well, I got wrapped up in the moment. You go to a Mary Kay party and everybody's buying the lipstick, and by God, you're not leaving without that lipstick, right? And that's what I felt happened to me. But lo and behold, my products show up, and Kelly is explaining to me like what they are and what they are not, and gives me all the things. And lo and behold, within probably a week, 10 days, my so-called health goal had been met, right? I'm regular for the first time in my life. And when I say my life, I can remember being a little girl, right? On the potty. And yeah, it was just like crazy. So I thought, okay, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to reach out to that pharmacy customer that I had seen at this thing and see what's what. So I call her and she's like, well, yeah, we just don't ever need your pharmacy anymore. Or she has 5 kiddos, and she started to get on a tangent, I will say, because her oldest daughter, type 1 diabetic, we saw them all the time, right? And her A1Cs were out of control, even though she was doing all the things, and her insulin dose kept increasing and all the things. And Alicia was just bent on finding out something else. We got to find out something else. And she was more natural mindset than I. And she found Plexus, and she started Mariah on Plexus. Her A1Cs got in line. But not only that, then she was convinced that these things do something, and she put all her family on the products. And we never saw the other 4 kids because they were never sick anymore. And my pharmacy at that time was right around the corner from pediatrics. So we saw them all the time. So it's like, okay, this has got to be legit. But again, me being a huge skeptic, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out why, which led me to all the researching because we weren't taught any of this. And I just feel so like cheated out on that. But when I look back now, it wasn't only the constipation thing. I understand why these women were saying it's life changing, because the longer you take it with consistency, the more things improve, even though you didn't think it was a thing, right? We're told, oh, once you turn 40, all this stuff's going to start to fall apart. It's just normal. Da da da. Your energies is going to tank, and you're not going to sleep good and all these things. Well, it's like we've been lied to for an eternity, because that is not the case. I was a Sunday napper, meaning I came home from church and I napped until I had to go to choir rehearsal that night. That was my routine. I had blister type eczema I would get every winter. I don't get anymore. If you know me at all, I'm a long distance bicyclist. And my routine was I'd get home from, an 80, 90-mile ride. And first thing I'd be reaching for is Tylenol or ibuprofen. And I can remember the first time I came home out of habit reaching for that. And it's like, okay, my shoulder's not killing me like it ought to be. And again, I heard women attest to this, but I still didn't believe it. A toenail fungus, I'm no longer dealing with. All these little things improve over time. And now I understand why these ladies say it's life changing, because when all these things improve, it is life changing. So, yeah, lo and behold, that is kind of my health journey. And of course, Kelly kept saying, when are you going to start sharing this? When are you going to start sharing this with others? Nope, not interested. Don't want the business. You already talked me into setting up a subscription and, being an ambassador, not doing this for the business. And I can remember sitting down with my husband at dinner one night. And this is after Kelly had reached out to me yet again. God bless her. And I said no to her yet again. And I'm talking to Scott, and we owned 2 pharmacies at the time. And I'm telling him this. And he said, well, Kelly, why did you go into pharmacy in the first place? I said, well, to help people. And he said, well, why would you share Plexus with others? Well, to help people. And he said, well, what's the problem? And I always thought, I felt inside of me like this was a conflict of interest, right? And then he just laid it on the line. It's not a conflict of interest if your motive is to help people, whether you do that from Western medicine or whether you do that from whatever somebody's searching for. And I find time and time again, Western medicine is going to fail. Not that there's anything wrong with Western medicine, but I think they have a lot of things wrong. Um, I believe now Plexus ought to be more first line therapy. And if that's not helping, then let's, look at other things. But from that point forward, my whole mindset shifted where I didn't feel like I was going to be selling to somebody. My motivation was to help somebody. Like, okay, Kim, are you happy getting 12 Imitrex shots every month to manage your migraines? Are you loving that? Missing 2 days of work consistently every month because these migraines lay you out, right? And yeah, ever since then, it's just been slow progression from me because again, I'm not looking at this point. I honestly don't have the time to be doing this like climbing for all the ranks and all the things. I don't feel I can support that type of situation right now, but down the road, who knows? And God has blessed my business at this point. I'm very happy with where I'm at. Between Kelly and Marla Stegman, then is my Sapphire, and then Helen McFadden or Kobos. And I can remember when Marla challenged me to do a live on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, that's never happening ever. Like, never. Don't ever say that again. And then she had said something about, well, you should just post that on YouTube so you can find it or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what that means. What is, at that time, I didn't even really know what YouTube is. And I just think if they hadn't challenged me on where I was, I wouldn't be here right now. And it's encouraging to my heart to have people reach out to me that I don't even know. And whether it's to ask a question or just to say that they're enjoying my channel or whatever. And it's just a treat. And I see how God has used me in this and how he's turned my fear into serving others, which is what I want. That's exactly where I want to be. So I feel very blessed to be part of all of this. I was at my second convention, a week ago, 10 days ago. And that was a trip as normal. It's just a trip to go to those things. I just get re-energized and refocused and all the things. I don't know how many of you were there, but I'm challenging you if you weren't there, get on board to get there next year because it's amazing. I've been to I don't know how many pharmacy conferences over the years, and after a while it's like, yeah, same thing, different year, same thing, different year. And Plexus is completely different. I'm all in. I'm all in if that doesn't show by now. So anyway, I've been rambling. So thank you for your time. You're giving me some time.
Okay, this is wonderful. I'm going to change the view. And I know you said that you'd answer questions. Yes?
Of course I will. Yeah. And if I can't answer it now, give me your contact and I will get back to you, or message me later and I will get back to you.
Okay. Well, I want to challenge you really quickly. I want
Yeah.
to, you said that you don't feel like you can support a large scale business,
I know.
but I want to challenge you that
I,
that is a lie that is in your head to keep you from dreaming.
I know.
I know you don't know me from Adam, but I feel
I
like
know.
God is placing me here for you
I
because
know.
you show up for others. You're here right now. You're loving on us. And I just want you to know that all of us believe that you are a diamond.
You're very
You
sweet.
know that. And I'm not, you don't, like I said, you don't know me from Adam. I wouldn't have chimed in with that word if I didn't believe it. Okay. Like it is authentic when it comes from me. So anyway, I just got to say that because you have a platform that you've been given
Yeah.
and people love it. People like they just care about what you have to say. You say it in a way that's concise. I announced your call. We don't have people, Mondays are hard, but I don't know how many people have commented to me that like, oh, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, please record it. Like, please. So my thank you to you is helping you remember who God has called you to be. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That
Does
is very,
anyone have any questions for sweet Kelly?
I
Um,
just I just have a to tell her I have a sister that is in the business with me that is a speech language therapist, and when she really wasn't invested until her daughter graduated and until she watched one of your videos. And she is constantly saying, can you send me that diamond, that diamonds video, the one that's the pharmacist? She is constantly using your videos as testimonies for her business. She's a senior gold, and I can't tell you the impact you have made on her. She's been taking the products for like 6 years, and it's crazy to think.
Thank you.
So she shares a lot of your videos,
I
loves you.
appreciate that.
She's in Florida right now, or she would probably be on with us because she's obsessed.
I would like to say something too.
Go, babe.
So, Kelly, I am just obsessed with your videos. I share them all the time. I've learned so much from you, and I can't thank you enough for everything that you do for the company. Love you so much.
Thank you for that. I've met you, haven't I, Marie? Or do I just know you from
Yeah.
Facebook?
We met the last
Last year.
Yeah, in the Dominican.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is encouraging to my heart because it's a lot of work. I mean, I love it. I love doing the YouTube thing. It is really fun for me, something different for me, but it's a lot of work. And I get burnt out in that too, just like everybody gets burnt out on stuff. So to hear that just motivates me. It's like you're saying, okay, God's tapping me on the shoulder. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Absolutely is. It's amazing. Like that, you are my go-to. So thank you so much.
Hey, Kelly, it's Donna. How are you?
Good.
Thanks so much for being here. And I obviously reiterate all of that. But you're how hesitant you are. I do know that Kelly is a good friend of mine, and she would love, love, love to help and support you in any way possible when you get in a busy spot. So just rely on her. She's
I know.
a big, big heart. Yeah. But I do have a question for you as far as pharmacy wise.
Sure.
How would you, I have pharmacy people in my life who are nice, but that's cute, Donna, over there. So what do you think is the best way to approach something like this? What's the best angle to go about to lure other pharmacists in?
Yeah, that's a tough one because that's a tough one, Donna.
Okay.
I just remember for me, I had a very prideful thing, thinking I was, smarter than y'all. And I was very much taken down many notches. And I'm thankful for that.
Okay.
But to get somebody to that point, I think it would be more of, obviously coming to them for a genuine, but I won't fault anybody trained in Western medicine because that's all we know, right?
Yeah.
That's the hard thing. That's all we know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if those schools have changed a lot in the training just because we know who funds the schools, right? It's the pharmacy industry. So I would come at it more of a, I hate to say it this way, but well, how's that working for you? Right? If they're
Gotcha.
coming to you with issues, okay. For me, I can take my story. Okay. I knew how to deal with my constipation, right? I knew it wasn't serving me. I can't take laxatives long-term, but I'd been doing it for literally decades, right? I knew what it was doing to my body, but I felt I had no other choice. So again, okay, if somebody came to you and said, well, I'm struggling with this, this, and this, that I'm not really fixing, right? I'm putting Band-Aids on it. Well, how is that how is what you're doing right now serving you? How's that working for you? But again, kind of sounds sarcastic, but I don't know how else you deal with it. Cause for me, I think it's asking that hard question, right? How is that working for you?
Sure.
I even do that now.
And many times when we have people we suggest take it to your pharmacist, let them see the label. So is that really a good thing to do, I guess? You know what I mean?
I think it is, but with
Okay.
one other comment to do that. So if you were to bring me something like what I'm telling you, right? If somebody were to bring me a bottle and say, tell me what,
Right.
can I take this, whatever. I was trained to say no. I wasn't trained to look at it, to like check anything. I was just trained to say no. So if the pharmacist or doctor, provider turned around and said no, my question then, which I would tell you to tell your person, which ingredient do you have a problem with?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I tell you every time they're gonna just be like, oh, yeah, walk away. They don't know. And that's your telltale. They don't know. And that's, again, I say no shame to them because that's not what
Right.
we're trained in. If you get somebody that really wants to dig into the weeds, I mean, I've got search engines that I subscribe to where I can check ingredients and I do it for people all the time. So if they're wanting to do that, they will do that. But again, depending on it's a relationship thing,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's very helpful. Yeah. I appreciate it.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
And I love that because I echo, obviously, Donna's on my team. So we're probably all in the network of folks that are saying, take it to your pharmacist, right? Like, so, we're kind of all doing that. What do you feel like is the greatest challenge? And this is a little bit more of a departure of what she shared, but what do you feel like is the greatest challenge regarding medical folks acknowledging nutrition? Okay. Like, and what I mean is that again, agreeing with what Donna or what, happened with your guys' exchange with you girls, that, you know, there is a sense of just not wanting to have that, vulnerability is the wrong word, but
Yeah.
responsibility of signing off on something. So understanding that, but like, what like in your opinion, what just how can the two come together? I guess I'm probably saying that poorly, but you know what I mean?
Well, kind of. So if you're wanting to like sell, if you're wanting to get a healthcare professional on the products, is that kind of what you're saying?
So we have a lot of nurses that have come, and the
Yeah.
reason they say that they've come or been interested in this is because of the kind of the red tape that is involved in their practice, and that
Mhm.
they feel like there's a little bit more freedom
Mhm.
with how to heal
Yeah.
without some barriers. Okay.
Yeah. I
Would
get
you,
it. Yeah.
yeah, would you feel like that is centralized among pharmacists or
Yeah.
doctors or you know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, a big selling point, again, being medical in the medical field, lab values speak volumes. If somebody brings to me like, so when I get people started and they tell me my blood pressure's like stupid and I'm on 3 meds and I'm like, yeah, I know, I fill them for you, or their cholesterol or whatever. If I can get them to give me your lab values right now and then commit to me and be on the products and then show me your lab values. And that would be of course, they're going to improve. I mean, they always do if the people are consistent, but then you've got a story to share with, it's like, here it is. Lab values speak. For me, that's what spoke.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me you feel better, feel all the things, right? Which is also great. I'm not discounting that, but for more science-minded people, we want to see it in black and white.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That's my opinion. And that for me is a huge selling point.
Sure. Okay. So many people on this call know I was raised by a nurse. So I'm very like, I could take your time all day, but I'm not going to. But I'm curious, and I think this would feed into the spirit and the belief of everyone on this call. What is the most incredible testimony that you've ever had the opportunity to, you know, work with one-on-one, as a level one or a customer of yours? What's the greatest experience that you've had with a testimony?
I think my mom, honestly, my mom has got chronic back issues, like to the point where they're debilitating. And she plays it off. She doesn't complain, all the things like, how's your day going, mom? Fine. smile on her face, all the things. And when I started this, I never preached it to her. She knew I was doing this, but I let her approach me, and she came to me then and said, I think I want to try this. Dad says I should try this. So he'd been saying, and I said, okay, let's talk. And I knew she had constipation issues. That was no secret. I knew that she had this pain issue. So I said, Mom, let's start on like the triplex and the E's. Would you be willing to do that? Yep, I'd be willing to do that. Okay. So we get her started. And with our relationship, we never really talk about stuff like that, like health stuff. You know what I mean? She doesn't tell me how constipated she is, and I don't tell her. It's just not something we ever talked about. So her products come, and I'm giving her the coaching that I would anybody else. And when she was taking the E's, she was getting this gag thing going on. She couldn't handle the smell, right? So instead of telling me this, even though I was reaching out to her, she wasn't telling me this. She ended up canceling her subscription, sent her products back, didn't say a word to me. And of course, it shows up in my back office, and I'm like, wait, what is going on here? Pick up the phone. Mom, what's going on? Well, then she tells me this, and I'm like, Mom, I could have given you tips on, put it in your fridge, put it in your freezer, do these things. Well, no, it's not for me. And she just shut me down. I'm like, okay, I will respect that. You're my mom. What am I going to do? So of course she's seeing my business grow, and I'm sharing stuff on Facebook with testimonies and all these. She's coming. She's supportive of what I do. She just had like canceled. Okay. So it's not, I don't know, 6 months later, she's like, Kelly, would you be willing to start me again? So I don't know if Dad pressed her again, or I don't know. But ever since, and I said, of course, Mom, of course I would. So she re-signed up again, and she's been consistent on the E's. She uses the skincare, she uses the collagen, she uses the trip. So, and did it like fix her back problems? Of course not. I never said it would. She's got like major things. But does it make her life more bearable? Yes. I can remember the first time she called, and she's like, Kelly, I'm like regular. I'm going to the bathroom every day. Bingo. I told you, Mom, But anyway,
Okay.
that has been my greatest story. And honestly, the second one would be my husband. I'll tell you his quick story.
Yeah.
So at the time that I started, probiotics were just kind of coming onto the scene in mainstream. So we'd go to our pharmacy conferences, and they were talking about probiotics. We started stocking them in our pharmacy, and he started on a probiotic. He was one that would get sick with a sinus infection 3 to 4 times a year, just consistently. And we knew it would happen. It would like take him out a couple days. He'd be in bed like a big old baby, like men are. You didn't hear that from me, but you know what I'm saying? It would like take him out. So he started on probiotics, and they were improving his situation. But when I started on Plexus, I remember him saying to me, we'd like be sitting down eating, and he'd be like, well, what makes your probiotic different than mine? Like, are you ready to switch over, Scott? Are you ready? Oh, no. Just curious. I'm just curious. Well, lo and behold, my products start like disappearing. It's like, well, this is weird. My sub isn't going to run for like another week, and I only have two slim left or whatever. He had started taking my stuff. Yeah. So he is on everything. He's on more products than I am. He got his hand caught in a sawmill one summer because he's got like a firewood business down at our lake place too, just like for fun. And he'd gotten his hand caught in the sawmill, and the doctor told him he would never have feeling in that thumb again. Yeah, that's a whole other story. But of course, I'm like mortified, right? And I said to him right away, you got to start taking nerve. Whether this stuff is legit or not, I don't know, but we're starting you on it right away. Total feeling in his hand again. So he is a huge believer. He lost 65 pounds. Yeah, he's done remarkably, not on his blood pressure meds anymore, doing great. I turned 56 yesterday. He'll turn 56 in a couple months. We're on no meds. We're healthy weight, all the things. So I'm a true believer. But family, I mean, to me, family is where, very validating.
I love that. Okay. Does anyone we will not keep you, we'll respect your time, but you did say to answer questions. I'm going to do one more sweep, one more clean sweep. Does anyone have anything Yes,
I
Jody.
would like to ask her. First of all, thank you, Kelly, for agreeing to join us tonight. You are a true blessing to so many people. And I doubt you even know how many people you touch, and your knowledge and your information is so relatable. And it's just, it's a true gift. It really is. You have a gift of educating others about this topic that's so important and can change so many health stories. And I know all of us on here feel very confident in sharing your videos and teaching our teams with them. And I really want you to know that I am very grateful that you do that and that you're sharing your time with me and my team, right? So, but I would like to ask you if we could put people on only one product,
Mm.
what would you put them on?
Yeah, that's a tough
I
one.
know.
That's a really
Like
tough one.
asking what's your favorite, and I'm like, I hate this question.
I know. You hate
But I'd
this.
really like to know what you think. If somebody had to do just one product, what would you think would be the most vital for them?
My mind has changed on this, and I'll tell you why. When I have been asked this question, even just like 2 years ago, I would focus more on Slim or ProBio 5 for sure. Slim or ProBio 5.
Right.
But being a pharmacist, we're all about the gateway drug, right?
Mhm.
I almost think if you can get somebody started on something where they get results faster and you can get them like on board, like let's say you have somebody that is a chronic napper, okay? Their energy tanks. If you can get them using active every day to replace their Monster or whatever trash they're using to give them energy, and
Mhm.
they feel better and they're not having that crash after taking that, that could be the gateway drug for them to have belief in Plexus as a whole. And that could go for ease or whatever, right? The hydrate, if they're like an athlete, but even the active for a gym rat because of the muscle, that whole
Mhm.
nitric oxide thing. So I think my mind has changed in that because I think that's big. I'm not saying that Slim and ProBio 5 are where it's at because I still think that's where it's at long term. But if you had somebody with sugar cravings, right? If you can get them on that Slim consistently, they go away like in that first week. That would be a huge win. And
Mhm.
then, when they believe you that it actually does something, hopefully you can get them on all of it.
Right. Right.
So.
This restores pretty incredible too, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'm right here
Yeah,
thinking it right now. Yeah, it's incredible. And the flavor's so much better.
it sure is.
Mhm.
It sure is.
I couldn't stomach it, but I did. I took it as a
Oh, I
shot.
was plugging my nose too. So I enjoy this so much
I do
more.
too. I do too. And I think it was a brilliant addition to their lineup because just like everybody has said, I don't know how many people have asked me about the fatty liver thing or do you have a detox? Do you have a detox? No, we don't. We really don't. Reset is the closest thing, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal. Well, I always say that it's a big, big deal, but this one is a really big, big deal.
I agree. I agree. So,
Awesome.
does anybody else have questions real quick?
Sorry about my.
Do you have a question, Tanya?
P, do you have a question?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just laughing at myself. No,
Okay.
hold on. I don't know what I'm doing.
I will say, Kelly, just real quick about your videos you do. I think, they are time consuming, I'm sure, for you to do, but just doing them, it really does give encouragement to all of us that are too afraid to do them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So the more you do, the more you inspire us to like, okay, you make it look easy. And I know it's not easy, but you ease the comfort of others being afraid to talk like this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, another thing I'll say before I do get off here, if you find some that are missing, and there are some that are missing because I've been asked to take them down, okay? Because I've said red flag words and I'm just not going to sugarcoat what these products do. I'm not willing to do that. So I don't work for Plexus, even though I kind of work for Plexus. You know what I'm saying? So I've got them. You just have to ask me for them and I'd be happy. So like ease is missing, nerve is missing. They're all out there, or I've got them all. So just ask.
I think that's how we connected, is because Mega X, I couldn't find it. And I just was like, I'm going to reach out and ask. And she sent it right to me. And,
Just
but I
visit.
agree. So if you have, I'll get them from you so we can update our library if we don't have all of them, but that would be wonderful. Yeah. So, all right.
Thank you, everybody, so much. This is wonderful. And I'm going to stop recording.